Today, we're going to see how well a vinyl soft top repair kit can patch some holes in a vinyl convertible top. This is the Afterwork Garage. Opening this kit up, we have what looks like cloth tape or some sort of cloth patch material. And then we have AquaSeal Plus FD flexible durable adhesive with a applicator brush. And then some alcohol pads, presumably to clean the surface before we apply anything. Some gloves and a sewing kit, it looks like here, with some safety pins, some thick thread, and some real big needles. So it looks like we're going to be sewing this patch on, or sewing the hole closed and then putting a patch on top of it. So looking at the instructions here, it looks like there's two options. There's a no-sew repair and then a sewn repair option, and it says for high-stress areas you may want to consider sewing the tear shut for added strength. So I think for me this is the one I'm going to do, and basically it looks like the only difference is with the sewn repair option you're actually sewing the tear shut with nylon thread before applying the adhesive and the vinyl tape. So for the first step here, it says clean both sides of the repair with the isopropyl alcohol. And then we're going to be trimming any frayed edges. I think I'm actually going to start by giving my car a wash because it's been sitting a while, and then let the top dry out before I start any of this. I've already started washing my car down, but as you can see, my current solutions here have included thick black tape, which really hasn't been holding for very long, and I've had to redo it several times in the past. So here we have a 2012 Mazda Miata NC, and the problem here is pretty self-evident. We have a spot where the convertible top bends around the metal frame that has been ripping for, it's been like this for like 4 years, possibly more. I've tried a few things. Obviously there's some Gorilla Tape in here. It's like that thick duct tape. And then I also used a black silicone caulk. And as you can see, I'd put tape over the top. That really worked pretty well for quite a while. It actually looks like a similar procedure to what this repair patch is, but I'm hoping that the chemicals and the materials that this new patch is going to use are a little more tenacious and last a little bit longer. I also like the idea that it's sewing up these tears to give it a little more structural strength as this thing bends and moves. Here on the other side of the car, you can see that a similar tear is starting. You also note from the factory there's these little reinforcement strips. Apparently they didn't do enough to reinforce the vinyl material, but it does show that this is a particularly high stress area. And whereas on the other side you had the multiple rips, you can see there's little cracks starting here and another crack starting there. Really what I definitely have to do is replace the entire top, but at the moment I don't have the funds to do that. Plus, I'd actually really like to make a video on soft top convertible replacement, but I don't have the space right now and the time to lay it all out, figure out what I'm doing, because I have no idea what I'm doing with something like that. On top of buying a top, which runs a little over $500 from what I've seen online. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is start by removing this old tape from the inside here. And as you can see, truly there is a hole all the way through there. Next, I think it'd be prudent if I try to get some of this old silicone off, because I don't think that's doing us any favors. Not sure if there is a preferred method for this, but I think I'm just going to keep picking at it here. See what I can get off. As you can see, it didn't bond super well, but definitely held up well enough over the past few years so as to prevent a lot of leaking and things. My reasons for wanting to repair this tear aren't merely cosmetic. When you have a hole in a soft top convertible like this, you're leaving yourself open to all sorts of water damage. Even a small tear like this can allow quite a bit of water in if the car's sitting outside in the rain, which can lead to water damage not only on the convertible top, but moisture, mold, bad smells, and all sorts of things you don't want in the car. Also, while a Miata is not known for being a quiet car to ride in, this tear made it noticeably louder on the freeway to the point of being quite annoying in terms of adding to the wind noise. it's stuck on the edges that hard that it's pulling the vinyl off with it. I was going to say that it's stuck on there hard enough we can maybe put something over it, though not everything likes to bond to other things. You know what I do have is some acetone. And I'm going to be real careful with this because acetone definitely can eat away well, basically everything on a car. So I'm going to do a little tester spot here. Definitely going to put it on the rag, not just go ahead and pour it on. I don't know what that's doing. It's making the towel black, so it's taking something off. Oh, it for sure can dissolve that vinyl. Okay. Well, I'm going to be a little more careful with this. So just looking down here, it's taking the pattern off of this little ridge. So maybe I'm going to be done with this. It did get a lot of the goo off there. Now we can use our kit approved alcohol wipe. With the area as clean as I could get it, it was time to start sewing. Now I'll be the first to tell you that I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to sewing, but this kit does come with various sewing devices like safety pins and a thimble and this tool that I actually don't know what it is. I ended up just using the needle and thread, and in the end got the tears sewn up to a point where I think they'll have a decent structural stability. And since this is going to be covered by cloth tape and adhesive, I'm not too worried about the appearance of the stitching, if you can call it that. Alright, I'm back with you here. Everything's as sewn up as I think it's going to get. And now we have this, what they call tenacious tape. I like the name. So it says to cut rounded patches. So I'm wondering if I should just cut 1, 2, 3. Next thing we're doing is painting this goop on. What do we have here? Oh, we don't have a poker. So it's applied to the threads and around the threaded area. I'm just going to kind of liberally apply it around. Oh no. Here. Try to smooth it out. A little bit. That doesn't look half bad. I mean, I definitely got crap all over, but much better than it did. This side wasn't nearly as bad as the other side was. All right. Making sure to smooth down these front ends here. I worked from the back end forward on the other side. I should have done that on this side because as the air and water is coming over it this way, it's liable to get under there and then start peeling these back. But hopefully the bond is going to be strong enough that that's not going to be a concern. Anyways, I don't actually have enough tape to do the underside of these. So I can either buy another kit, or what I may do is just go ahead and re-duct tape the other side of them for now. Again, the idea is that I really do need a new top, so this is only a temporary fix, but for a temporary patch, I'm actually pretty happy with how this turned out. I will come back tomorrow once this is dry, and we'll take a look at this in the daylight, and then see how we did. Okay, it's been about 20 hours. It looks like this tape, the tenacious tape, has peeled up here on the sides on its own, maybe because of the heat. It's pretty warm and humid out. But the adhesive is set up to feel pretty solid. So it looked so nice yesterday. I had such high hopes, and I'm a little disappointed that this tape has just really peeled. I don't know what to think of that or what to do. I guess there's some of the adhesive there. If I push it down, it'll stay for a little bit and then it curls right back up again. I've actually tried this right before I started filming. So I don't know quite what to do. I have an idea. I have a little bit, not very much at all, but I don't think I need much, of this headliner carpet adhesive left, and it says bonds to foam, carpet fabrics, plastic, rubber, etc., and resistant to extreme weather conditions. So, you know, I think that might work, and I'm thinking, instead of spraying it on there, which would be a total mess, maybe I can just, it's really snotty, gloopy stuff, maybe I can spray it onto my glove or something and then just kind of paste it where I need it. But let's go ahead and give that a try. Of course, I have no idea if this is going to be compatible with whatever adhesive's on here. But I guess the worst that can happen is it can not work, which it's not working already, so it's not going to be worse than that. I'm going to try to get to the very edge. Really paste it down. Since this is automotive, I'm thinking it's probably, hopefully, not going to melt this stuff, because I think a lot of headliners are vinyl or some kind of carpet material. So ideally, it's not going to melt through the top, but if it does, then we have another video. Okay, this stuff sets up really quick, so it's like all tacky on my fingers already. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. But, oh, that looks terrible. Okay. Oh my God, this is a sticky nightmare. Wow. Now it just looks like someone blew their nose all over the car. So here's the deal so far. I really like the look of this black fabric. It looks much nicer when I don't make a snotty mess of it. If you come over to this side, you can see I didn't goop it up as badly. I like the fabric look. The adhesive that they provided underneath is a lot like a harder version of rubber cement, and you can definitely still see the areas where it's sort of flown under there, flowed into these creases. It's made them hard, so it's not going to be perfect. Now, it looks like that adhesive did a pretty fair job of keeping the tape down, but what I should have done clearly is painted all the way to the margins of the tape, and maybe even painted the backside of the tape. So what I may eventually end up doing is purchasing another one of these kits if I want to try it properly, removing all of this and then painting the back side of this tape with their adhesive to make sure that all the corners are sealed, then placing the tape down over the defect, and I still maybe paint some of that adhesive into the defect, but you definitely need their adhesive or some kind of adhesive to hold down these corners and edges, because otherwise it for sure starts to peel up and curl. I don't know what I think about using this headliner adhesive. At the very least, it's going to take a little to clean up, and at the very most, it looks terrible. But I hope this gives you an idea of maybe some of the challenges of using a patch kit like this. How, in my opinion, I think it did a fair job of actually closing those rips, especially using the thread. And it looks like it's going to be pretty stable in terms of not letting water in, and making the top airtight and watertight again. Not airtight, but watertight. But in terms of aesthetics, there's definitely a patch there. At the very least, you have a patch that's looking like this. It looks better than tape, but it still has that wrinkly, crinkly look to it. And if you do a bad job like I did over there, you definitely have some sort of adhesive mash or whatnot going on. I don't know. Don't know what to say. You know, I think that headliner adhesive trick seemed to have worked. It's not, I was worried that it was going to start flaking up and coming up, but I've driven this around for about, an hour, including a fair bit of highway driving at speed, and so far it has not come up. When I use that black Gorilla duct tape stuff, it would start to flake up in front, especially after driving at high speed. So this is no longer curling up. I think what I should have done is put the original adhesive on the tape all the way to the edges, like I mentioned earlier. And then I could avoid this having to secondarily adhere stuff to it. This is kind of a mess. Not totally sure what I'm going to do here. I might try to run some acetone over it, though I don't want to overdo it, and I also don't want to soak this fabric in acetone, because obviously that's just going to weaken the bond with the glue underneath. But why not give it a shot? Given the fact that this is my car and I know I'm going to have to replace the top eventually anyways, I'd say that this kit probably did the bare minimum of what I would have expected it to do, which is provide a watertight seal that's a little more permanent than me trying to fashion something out of silicone caulk and duct tape. But there's some obvious aesthetic problems here that even, a quick glance at the car, you can tell that there's been a patch applied by someone who doesn't really know what they're doing trying to patch the vinyl. But hopefully this video gives you some ideas on what you can expect when you use one of these kits, and maybe some areas where when you use it on your top, you can improve over the job that I did. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time on the After Work Garage.